I needed some tallow, so I headed into my local butcher shop. The butcher, he's my neighbor, and he saves all of his beef fat trimmings for me because, well, he's just really, really nice. And yes, I said I came in here to get beef fat, but look, he had duck, and I needed two of them. So I could make aromatic pulled duck with the honey butter glaze. This was so good. Sorry, I got distracted. I went into the butcher and he had all of this goodness just waiting for me. And Kevin's the best because look, he vacuum sealed it to keep it fresh. But he didn't need to worry because I was so excited. I got this straight home and began to process it. But before I go through all of that, if you're new here, what you're looking at is beef fat. It's a waste product for my butcher, but it's a really valuable resource for me. And that's because I use it for so many things. I render the oil from this fat and I use it to weatherproof my boots and make soap and replace WD-40 as a household lubricant. I probably use this in a dozen different ways and I get it for free. Now that makes my wallet happy and this is super sustainable and that makes my heart happy. And in order to access all of this happiness, I need to separate the oil content of this fat from everything else. Now what is everything else? Skin, connective tissue, there's moisture content and meat on here, but also oil. There's so much oil. And in order to get it, I'm going to break this fat down into the smallest pieces I possibly can. Now today I chose to do this in a Vitamix. And if you're one of my regulars, you know the Vitamix has been a little bit problematic in the past, but don't worry, I think I've cracked it. You might have also noticed that I added water. This process is called a wet render with brine. Brine because I'm about to add just a little bit of salt. The brine, it helps wash and purify the oil while it's rendered, and I'm going to render it in this Instapot. Using the pressure cooker function, which should help that oil render out as quickly as possible. However, this is only the second time I've used the Instapot to render tallow, and I kind of wanted to compare it to the crock pot, so we're putting an equal amount of fat into the crock pot, but with a little bit extra water. Now this is the end of part 1. We'll check on all of this goodness in part 2.